Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something I think many of us find pretty fascinating, the sort of unspoken rules of power. We've got this really interesting source for it. It's a YouTube video, actually, from a channel called Darkmindset. The title is, Only 1% of Men Know These 7 Body Language Secrets Dominate Any Room.
Yeah, quite the title. Very clicky.
It is definitely attention-grabbing, but the core idea is what we want to dig into, this concept that real influence isn't always about, like, being the loudest person.
Exactly. It often comes across in silence, doesn't it? Through these subtle body language cues that just draw people in without shouting for attention.
Right. The video makes this point. Think about people you see as genuinely powerful. They don't always seem to be trying hard for the spotlight.
No, it just sort of finds them. They might not say much, but when they do speak, you listen.
Precisely. So our mission here is to unpack these 7 body language techniques from the video.
Yeah, look at what they are, but also, like, the psychology behind them, maybe, and offer some, practical, maybe even surprising things listeners could think about for projecting confidence, being taken seriously.
Okay, let's jump right in. Secret number 1, the power of the slow blink.
Ah, yes, the blink.
The video draws a contrast, right, between, like, fast, nervous blinking, when someone's clearly stressed or maybe uncertain, that fluttery thing.
In the fear response almost.
Versus this really slow, deliberate, almost lazy closing and opening of the eyes.
That's the technique. It's about consciously slowing down your blink rate, especially, the video suggests, when you feel maybe a bit intimidated or under pressure.
So instead of speeding up, you intentionally slow it right down, let the eyelids sort of drift closed and open again?
Right. And the intended effect is, well, psychological. It's meant to signal calmness, control.
Like a nonverbal, I'm not bothered by this.
Exactly. And the video even claims it can make the other person, the potential intimidator, actually feel a bit less sure of themselves, put the pressure back on them.
It's interesting. Is there a biological link, maybe? Like we blink slower when relaxed?
That's likely part of the thinking. When we're calm and focused, our blink rate naturally drops. So mimicking that might project calm, but maybe even help induce a bit of calm internally, too.
Could be. The video uses that phrase, lions don't panic, lions observe.
Yeah, I liked that. It's about showing you're observing, taking things in deliberately, not being rushed or panicked.
Okay, moving to the second secret, grounded movement. This one paints quite a picture.
It does. It contrasts what it calls weak movement, someone maybe bouncing on their feet, shifting weight all the time, looking like you could just push them over easily.
Yeah, fidgety.
With powerful movement, which feels, well, grounded, connected, like you're heavier.
But the technique is?
It's about consciously feeling that connection. When standing, imagine weight sinking down, feet firmly planted, like roots almost. And when walking, it suggests moving with heavy but effortless steps. The video uses the analogy of a lion stalking. Intentional movement, or maybe lack of unnecessary movement.
So it's not about being loud or stomping. It's quieter.
Seems so. More about projecting stability, control through how you hold yourself and move. The effect is meant to be that you seem immovable, solid.
Or forced to be reckoned with just by being there.
Right. It taps into our subconscious reads, doesn't it? We associate that kind of stable posture with confidence, with authority. So adopting it sends that signal. Secure, self-assured.
All right, secret 3. The 3-second room scan. This is about entrances.
The video points out a common mistake, apparently walking in and immediately launching into conversation.
Yeah, or looking for someone specific right away.
Instead, the powerful technique, it says, is different. You pause.
Hold on.
Just about 3 seconds, deliberately, and use that time to slowly scan the room, making brief eye contact with maybe a couple of key people.
3 seconds.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like much, but the video claims it has a big impact.
Yeah, it suggests this creates an immediate energy shift. Like, people notice your presence before you say anything.
And they subconsciously start waiting for you.
That's the idea. It gives you a kind of control non-verbally right from the start.
It makes sense from a dynamics perspective. Brushing in can feel jarring.
Whereas pausing, observing, it suggests awareness, intention, like you're taking in the scene confidently. It naturally draws eyes.
Okay, secret 4. embracing stillness.
Ah, the counterpoint to fidgeting.
Exactly. We live in a pretty anxious world. Fidgeting is common when we're uncomfortable. The video says stillness is power.
Right. It contrasts those little unconscious movements, tapping fingers, shifting in your seat, adjusting clothes, things that signal unease, maybe weakness, with deliberate stillness. So the technique is, when challenged or under scrutiny, just hold your position.
Yeah.
Minimize the fidgets, the excessive blinking, the sudden moves.
And the effect is supposed to be intimidating.
Potentially, yeah. If someone expects a nervous reaction and gets stillness instead, it can be quite unsettling. It might make them feel uncomfortable.
And maybe make them talk more to fill the silence. Give things away.
That's the suggestion. Stillness projects composure, self-command. It says, I'm not rattled. And that lack of reaction can read as inner strength.
Makes sense. Okay, secret 5, the strategic pause. This is about silence in conversation.
Playing against that urge, we often have to fill every gap immediately.
Right, so the technique is when someone asks you a question.
You pause intentionally, just for, say, a second or two before you answer. Resist the impulse to jump straight in.
And the claim is this makes your words seem weightier, more important.
That's the idea. The other person is left hanging for that brief moment. They might even wonder if they asked something wrong or if you're deeply considering it.
Which shifts the dynamic a bit. The video links it to negotiation tactics, too.
Yeah, that's a good parallel. In negotiating, a pause can signal careful evaluation, make your response seem more considered, less reactive. People might pay more attention, value it more.
Okay, number 6 is decisive departures, ending conversations.
We've all been there, the awkward shuffle trying to leave politely.
Totally. This suggests a more assertive way.
Basically, taking control of when the interaction ends, instead of waiting for the perfect moment or signal.
You just decide.
Pretty much. When you're ready to go, you initiate the disengagement. Maybe a slight glance away, a small nod, turning your body slightly. The video even suggests doing this before the other person finishes their sentence.
Wow, that is quite assertive.
It is. It definitely pushes against normal politeness conventions.
The message being, my time is valuable, I control this.
That seems to be the psychological signal it aims for, yes. Making others perhaps value your time more, because you clearly do. Projecting busyness, importance.
All right, the last one, secret 7, the lingering gaze. This is about the impression you leave after you leave.
Powerful people leave a lasting impact, the video argues.
And the technique.
As you're walking away, after the chat is done, you pause briefly, glance back for just a second.
Okay.
But with what the video calls a cold, unreadable gaze. No smile, no obvious emotion, just a quick, direct look back.
Intriguing. What's the intended effect of that?
It's meant to make people feel there's more to you. Create a bit of mystery, maybe, make you memorable after you're gone.
So it's less about the conversation itself and more about the feeling that look leaves behind.
Exactly. That subtle, maybe slightly enigmatic glance back, it adds a layer, makes them think about you, perhaps wonder what you were thinking. It's about shaping perception even after the interaction.
So, okay, we've run through these 7 secrets. It's definitely food for thought, isn't it? How these small nonverbal shifts could potentially change how people see us.
It really is. But, as you mentioned earlier, there's a key piece of context from the video itself.
Yeah, the disclaimer. What was it?
It explicitly says body language alone isn't enough, which is crucial. It hints that, inner confidence, your actual mindset. It even mentions the dark psychology of influence are really important too.
So these techniques are maybe tools, but they work best if they align with genuine self-assurance.
That seems to be the implication. They might amplify confidence, but they probably can't fake it entirely, or not for long anyway.
Which brings us to a final thought for listeners, maybe. Consider trying out just 1 or 2 of these. See how it feels, how it might change your interactions.
Yeah, or even just start observing people you see as powerful or influential. Do they use any of these techniques, consciously or unconsciously?
It seems like real lasting power probably comes from that blend, right? The outward presentation and that solid inner confidence.
Definitely something to ponder further. It's likely a mix of both.